Preseason week 1 is in the books for the New York Football Giants, and they fall. They get a loss against the Detroit Lions, 21-16. But in today's video, I'm going to give you my winners and losers from the first preseason game. There are some players that really stood out. There were some other players that did not look so well. So I'm going to give you 3 winners and 2 losers following preseason week 1. But first, make sure you all are subscribed to New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. We put out videos every single day on the latest Giants news and rumors. We were live for preseason week 1. We'll have a watch party for preseason week 2 and 3. And we're going to be live for every single game on the channel this season. So subscribe, turn notifications on, and sub for Giants Dubs. First, though, let's start with some housekeeping news. We do have some injury news to report as the Giants, unfortunately, had a couple of injuries. Collin Johnson left the game against the Detroit Lions with a knee injury, and that's just unfortunate for him because he's a guy that looked good in camp last year, then tore his Achilles, battled back, and has looked good in training camp so far this year, and then he left the game with an injury. It has not been reported what the injury is. I'm sure he'll go through some testing once he gets back to the locker room, but you look at this wide receiver depth chart, he always had an uphill battle to make this team, but he really showed out in training camp, and a knee injury really is going to put a wrench into things for Collin Johnson. I unfortunately think this might be the end of the road for him with Big Blue. Another injury to report, this time on the defensive side of the ball and in the secondary. CorDale Flott left today's game with an abdomen injury. And once again, not sure the severity of that. Once we do, we'll put out more injury news about that. But I wanted to see more of Flott in that second half. So now you're looking at Darnay Holmes and Nick McLeod in that slot. Rodarius Williams didn't look too good. Amani Oruwariye was playing with the second team. So that's what we're looking at with the injury news. Let's start with the winner from the game. And I'd say probably the biggest winner is safety Jason Pinnock. He was in a position battle with a couple of different safeties on this roster, including Dane Belton, Javarius Owens, Bobby McCain, and Cook. But he came out and had a heck of a ball game. He intercepted the first pass of the game for the New York Giants on defense, had a big interception. And then on the very next play, when the Giants got back on the defensive side of the ball, he was able to get downhill and make a play in the backfield, had a tackle of loss for about 3 yards, had another pass breakup and a couple more tackles. He looked really good, and he definitely put his foot forward in this position battle, but also Dane Belton, someone that he is battling with, had an interception. Never a problem to have too many good players in the secondary, and the Giants, they've got a couple of them. I want to ask you this question, though. Who is the biggest winner from the game today? Check that logo if you can. Who is the biggest winner from the game in today's Week 1 preseason matchup? I want to hear from you. I'd probably roll with Jason Pinnock. He's the guy that just comes to mind for me, that big interception, had to play behind the line of scrimmage. But there's some other guys that we're going to get to. So I want to hear from you. Who is the biggest winner from the first preseason game for the New York Giants? I also just want to make this clear. We're talking winners and losers, but there are no losers really when it comes to preseason games. Look, these guys are in the NFL. They are not losers whatsoever. But it is my job to grade people and say if they're winners or losers. And I want to start on, no need to push it. Well, I want to start on the offensive side of the ball. I thought that James Robinson struggled a little bit for the New York Football Giants. I don't think he impressed really at all. I thought he looked slow. I thought he looked really just kind of like he was running in mud a little bit. I don't think he looked that well. So I'm going to have James Robinson come in as a loser. Wasn't a lot of room for him to run, but I just felt like he left some yards on the table. I felt like he didn't get it as that backup running back. I don't know if he's going to earn a roster spot on this team. He did not look good. So I'm going to call James Robinson a loser following Week 1. A winner, and a guy that had shocked the hell out of me. What about Tommy DeVito, the third-string quarterback for the New York Giants? He pretty much played the entire game. You saw Tyrod Taylor start the game for the Giants. But DeVito, despite having no time to throw, despite being constantly pressured, he was able to hang in the pocket and kind of slice and dice this Detroit Lions defense. He ended up 15 of 24 for 155 yards. Had that touchdown. He did throw an interception, but I'm not even going to, excuse me, got the hiccups. Count that as an interception. It was 4th down on the last drive of the game for the Giants offense. He just threw it up instead of being sacked, so I have no problem with the interception. I thought he looked good. He broke the pocket a couple of times, extended plays by scrambling, and I was a big fan of Tommy DeVito. I thought he stood up and showed out. A loser for the Giants is definitely the offensive line. I thought the offensive line, really with the first offense and the second offense and the third offense, really looked bad. I mean, you talk about that 4th and 1 the Giants had in the first half. They had their starting interior offensive line out there. You had John Michael Schmitz at center, Joshua Ezeudu at the left guard, and you had Ben Bredesen at the right guard, and you couldn't get a push. James Robinson got stuffed in the backfield on 4th and 1. That's not good. But, man, Wyatt Davis, he was awful for the Giants. I think he gave up 3 sacks. He did not look good. They were trying him out at right tackle, and he's just not a tackle. Wyatt Davis was awful, to say the least, for the Giants. Also, Corey Cunningham was playing some left tackle for the Giants, number 70. He also wasn't good. I mean, to be quite frank, Cunningham and Wyatt Davis kind of ruined this game. Like, they didn't give him any time to throw. They didn't give DeVito any chance to operate or, dissect the defense. The offensive line did not look good, and the two worst were Corey Cunningham and Wyatt Davis. A winner, I'm going to give it to Jashaun Corbin. Could have gone a couple of other directions with this one, but I'm going to go Jashaun Corbin as a winner. Had that big 30-yard run, looked good off the right side, got north and south, and made a big play. But it's more so what I saw from him in the pass blocking department. There was a couple of plays where he just stood up and got a good pass block to give DeVito some time. There were a lot of free rushers and people just getting into the backfield, and you saw 2 or 3 times Corbin really just got up in there and made kind of play-changing blocks. Big fan of Jashaun Corbin, UDFA out of Florida State entering year 2. I think he runs hard. I thought he broke a couple of tackles. I thought Eric Gray looked good as well. But I really thought Jashaun Corbin looked good for the New York Giants. Another loser for the Giants was definitely their special teams. I mean, this was an area that was not good last year. The special teams was not good. It was honestly a hindrance for this football team. But you see today, they allow a punt return, a 94-yard punt return, all the way for 6 for the Detroit Lions. But also, on a kickoff return, they let the ball bounce at their own 15-yard line, and it was awesome. I mean, it was almost, recovered by the kicking team. So your kickoff return team didn't do well. Your punt team allowed a touchdown. I know Brian Daboll is not too happy. There's 3 phases of football. And if you're not good at one of them, you're probably not going to be a good football team. This special teams needs to get better as soon as possible. That's what you have the preseason for. Another loser I have is hype train Bryce Ford Wheaton. He was targeted a couple times, was dropped a 3rd down on a slant route. Another time, he was called for an offensive pass interference. Just didn't do much. Dropped a one-handed pass off the sideline, but it wasn't like a tough one-handed catch. He could have easily brought it in with one hand, but it just kind of bounced off his hands like some rubber. Did not look good. Is he supposed to look good? He's a UDFA, but there's a lot of hype around him. And a guy that's trying to make this roster at a crowded wide receiver position, you got to show up and you got to show out. And unfortunately, Bryce Ford Wheaton was not able to do that. I'll ask you this question. Who was the biggest loser from the game? Who was the biggest loser for the New York Giants? I'd probably go this interior offensive line. Really, the second and third team. I'd go Wyatt Davis and Corey Cunningham. But let me know what you think. Who were the biggest losers for the New York Football Giants? Some other notes I had. I thought Tom and Fox and the UDFA, Baldonado, the edge rusher, looked pretty good. I thought O'Shane Zimenez did not look so good, and I thought he brought some pressure off the edge. Tommy DeVito looked good. Didn't have any time to throw, but he was able to hang in there and deliver some tough passes. Ripped a nice pass over the middle to Jamison Crowder. That one got me fired up. The young cornerbacks looked pretty good. Trey Hawkins had some good plays. Deonte Banks had some good plays. Even CorDale Flott had a couple of good plays. Had a pass breakup on 4th and goal, but he was kind of beat, and it was just kind of a bad throw. And some of the slot receivers. Cole Beasley had a couple of good catches in the first half. He got north and south. David Sills had a good performance. Jamison Crowder looked all right. Khalil Templeton had a good play. I'm just trying to think of any other plays that stood out to me. You think of any? I think we've hit them all. Yeah, Jayshon Corbin had some great blitz pickups. Overall, I thought it was a good game for the Giants. You want to come out with a win, but it's a preseason, doesn't really matter. Tommy Sweeney had a really nice block on an edge play. He also had that touchdown on a great pass from Tommy DeVito. That's about it. Carter Coughlin missed a couple of tackles at the line of scrimmage. I think that's about it. Gervarius Owens made a couple of nice plays on defense. I'll think of some more, and we'll break that down in takeaways videos tomorrow. But make sure you guys and girls are subscribed to New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. We're going to continue to put out videos every single day on the latest Giants news and rumors. We'll be live for week 1 against the Cowboys. We'll also be live week 2 of the preseason and week 3. So if you're looking for a one-stop shop to keep you up to date with the latest Giants news and rumors and videos, free videos every day, hit that sub button right now, and we'll see you later.